Bronc Bros podcast with Adam Ramirez and Sean Flanagan.
Everyone, welcome to a somber but also exciting episode of Bronc Bros. I'm your host, Adam, at Adam Knows Ball. This is Sean. Sean, I have our sweet prince behind us as we're trying to mourn the loss of our great quarterback. I'm also going to admit that I was wrong on this podcast about the Bills winning this game because I definitely thought they were going to win. But Sean, welcome back. I'm glad to not be doing a pod without you for once. And just give us your overall feelings right now before we go into the whole Bo Nix situation.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be more excited than to be in an AFC Championship game? Obviously, there's some stuff to talk about with that, but if I think if you ask 99% of football fans and maybe even a large sum of Broncos fans, if we were going to be in the AFC Championship this year, I think there'd be a very small contingency of people that chose that. I know of maybe one or two that did, but it's one of those things, man. It's just like I couldn't believe I watched the game. I wasn't at home, and then you drive home and you're just pumped, and like 30 minutes later, you're like, what just happened? So it's a roller coaster, just like watching a Broncos game. The aftermath of the Broncos game was identical.
Yeah, I was at Target with my girlfriend, and my cousin texted me because we were talking about who we wanted to play, Patriots or Texans. And he was like, well, we're going to lose because Bo's out. And I was like, Bo Nix? Bo, what are you talking about? Bo's out. And then, all the texts started leaking in. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I was like, I almost cried there in Target, dude. We were in the lingerie or something. I can't remember where exactly we were, but I was gonna break down, dude. I can't think of another situation like this where you won a game in the playoffs and you thought you were good because your quarterback's literally standing there doing an interview after the game, kind of walking off the field without any issues, and then you get a notification like 30 minutes later that your quarterback's out for the championship or the Super Bowl or whatever. I think it's just an unprecedented situation, Sean. I don't remember that happening to anybody.
Yeah, I know obviously Nick Foles, and I think he had something to say on some of the national broadcasts today in situationally similar. I don't think anybody was like, oh my God, Carson Wentz is, he had a great season that year and all that, but I don't think it was, exactly how it's playing out here. But, at least there's precedence to the fact that it's, if anyone would have said, yeah, Nick Foles is taking us to the championship, I think a lot of people would have got laughed off of that take, So I guess if you need a little glass half full, that's about all you're going to get. But, I'm sure there's other ideas. But, the thing I thought of today is it reminded me of when Jamal went down in the bubble. And I think if that didn't happen, that would have honestly been the Nuggets' first championship. And this feels eerily similar to that, is that we had it and it was stolen from us. And I don't know, that's just how I felt about it today. That's kind of my parallel that I got. And obviously both Denver things, but that was where I was today in my grief.
And that's what it is, Sean. It's grief. Like, I am genuinely like distraught, heartbroken, sad, like all of these things. We put so much time and energy and money and emotional investment into the Broncos, and then you watch that game yesterday and you're like so proud of how Bo Nix outplayed Josh Allen completely, by the way. And you just knew that when the Broncos got the ball back, down 27-23 that he was going to do it. He's been doing it all year. I just knew that he was going to do it. And we'll talk about me picking the Bills to win the game and stuff because I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. But none of that had to do with Bo Nix. My concern going in the game was Sean Payton in the running game, and all those things showed up, Sean, and they still won the game. Bo Nix dropped back to pass almost 50 times, and they won the game. It's just he's unbelievable. He lost 2 receivers in the game, and he's like, all right, no worries, dude. I'll just throw it to everyone else. And that is the mark of a great quarterback. So I'm not going to apologize to anybody for feeling sad about this. I've come a long way with Bo Nix from not wanting him at all to being super frustrated by him to saying, we need to be patient with him. There's going to be ups and downs to being like, this dude's great. And then, to end the season, it was like, is he progressing or is he on a decline? Is he hurt? What's going on? And then, to loving him. And of course we've always supported him because he's our quarterback, but just absolutely loving and adoring Bo Nix, as Bronco fans, the whole city, for what he's done for all of us Broncos fans this year. So it's really hard for me to put into words how devastating this is. And I know it's not life or death, and there's other things in life that are more serious, and people get terminal illnesses, and there's other stuff that happens. But for a football fan, this is rock bottom, dude.
Well, and it's not just a football fan, it's a sports fan. You literally just lost the most important position of any sport on the precipice of the most important game in all of sports. The culmination of all of it and what a quarterback means and what a Super Bowl means as a sports fan. I know you're a Rockies fan, but do you give 2 craps if the Rockies win a World Series, if the Broncos can win a Super Bowl? It's not the same. You know what
No.
I mean? I don't care at all. If the Rockies win 7 games that they're going to win next year, you know what I mean? I just don't care.
Easy now.
It's one of those things that's just this game, and it's so special as an American sport. And obviously, as we have a great franchise, and we went through a decade of just dreck, and then you finally get the guy, and he puts him on his back. And there was a lot of reasons why we had no business winning that game. As many reasons Bo gave us to win that game, we had a lot of reasons to not win that game. And so to lose, one of the main reasons as to why you won that game sucks, man. But it's football always speaks the next man up, and you paid Stidham, you speak highly of him, so you either know what you're talking about or you're full of it, and you're just feeding us what you need to feed us. I know he's a backup. I'm not going to say he's more than that, but I know, and you and I had this conversation on this very show, Stidham may have to win us some games. That came out of your mouth, and we spoke about it, and here it is. And so
the worst time. Yeah.
Once in a lifetime opportunity, man. This is life-changing for somebody like Jarrett Stidham. If you can win the 2 biggest games in all of football, you probably have yourself a job next year. Not here, but somebody is going to pay you to compete for a job with somebody that the Colts say that are not going to have Daniel Jones because of an Achilles for most of the year. That's a place where if you go and win the Super Bowl, somebody's going to pay you a decent amount of money to not have Anthony Richardson play football for you. So, it's a great opportunity for him, and I hope he seizes it.
Of course, he would have to be traded in that instance, but the Broncos could entertain something like that, right? It's that quick too. Nick Foles was a superstar. He's a legend forever in the city of Philadelphia. And we're probably not going to get into this too much today because I'm just thinking about Bo, but like I'm sure he's going to give us a chance to win the game. I know he can sling it. I know he's got a good arm. I know he's a big, strong quarterback. I know that he's not a statue back there. He can use his legs a little bit too. He's not Bo, but he can use his legs a little bit too, right? So he's been in the system for 3 years. And the bottom line, Sean, is we don't have a choice. We have to back Jarrett Stidham. He's our quarterback. That's what it is, you know? So we're going to put everything we have behind him. And luckily for us, it's a home game. The thing that bothers me about it being a home game is the Broncos worked so hard this year to get the home field, to win the division. This is why you get home field, and Bo's not going to be able to see it through, man. And part of me just like, it doesn't feel right if we win a Super Bowl without Bo, you know? And then the other part of me is like, well, it doesn't really matter as long as we win the damn Super Bowl. I don't think anyone's going to care, right? So I feel like the national pundits, which we're going to get into here in a little bit, they would have some fuel or some I don't know, some arguments to make. Well, the Broncos won a Super Bowl without Bo Nix. How great could he possibly be? You know, like I don't want to hear any of that stuff, dude. He yesterday proved that he belongs in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL, because the so-called Superman that was supposed to come in here and beat the Broncos was anything but. He was good, but he wasn't good enough. And Bo Nix was way better than him in this game. Like, it wasn't even close. Now, Bo made a really bad throw that was picked off by the defensive line. And, you know, there were a couple other ones that could have been picked and things like that, but they weren't. The point is that Bo Nix made plays when he absolutely had to, and Josh Allen did not. So what were your thoughts on that, Sean? And coming into the week, did you think that Bo could outplay him in a shootout? Because all week we heard, you know, Broncos can't get in a shootout with the Bills because, you know, he can't outduel Josh Allen. And, you know, I think I even mentioned it on the podcast where the Broncos could beat the Bills, where it's like, I think they could get in a shootout. I think our defense is good enough to get a stop in a shootout. I trust them over the Bills getting a stop, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So what were your thoughts on all of that, Sean?
Well, so I think there was a major game plan for Pat Bryant. And I think that was something that we saw early on. And the fact that that is taken away from you, and maybe one of your favorite targets, obviously, in Troy Franklin, and somebody you have a lot of rapport with. And Cortland Sutton was non-existent in the first half. I was like, maybe this dude's injured too, because I don't know where the hell he's at, but he's not on this football field. And so obviously Marvin Mims carried the weight in the first half. But to have something that seemed, you know, obviously we're not privy to the game plan, but it seemed like it was, we're going to feed Pat Bryant. He's a great possession receiver. Nobody knows what he's capable of. And we're going to get him in space and we're going to let him do what he does. And he absolutely did it, man. He looked so good. And I'm sitting there watching the game where like Pat Bryant's out and I'm like, dude, no way. And so to your question, for Bo to overcome what they probably worked on all week long, and to find ways and to get Marvin Mims involved and to do things with his legs like we know that he can, and to overcome the 74 screens that Sean Payton called, it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's just like, well, Bo had a lot of things stacked against him based on all the things that I'm describing, and he still was able to make plays individually. The ball, the last touchdown pass, the throws to Cortland Sutton on the sideline, it was fantastic quarterback play, man. It's exactly what it's supposed to look like. And for the haters like Nick Wright, that I know that's, you know, our next topic and what you're talking about with the narrative, but it's like everybody just wants to hate on him. And he did exactly what he needed to do. And he beat the best team in the AFC, you know, for as far as the playoff teams, if you want to ask a lot of people, since we were dogs at home. But I mean, when you have that much stacked against you and you're able to come back again in the biggest game of your life so far and handle it, we talked about a sophomore slump. You look at how CJ Stroud played for 2 games in the playoffs, and it was atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in Houston, as you know, and I guarantee you tomorrow there's going to be people wondering who the Texans are going to draft at quarterback. And Bo Nix didn't have that sophomore slump. He had his downs, but he didn't piss all over himself like other quarterbacks have in their sophomore year. He stood up to the challenge, and he is going to the AFC Championship as a sophomore, as is Drake May. I wish they were going against each other, but it is what it is. He had a fantastic game, and he deserves all the praise in the world for what he did.
Yeah, dude. And then to stand there on a broken ankle to do the interview after the game and walk off the field and not make Bronco fans worry, because that's the kind of guy he is, right? He's like, I'm going to walk off the field and make sure that nobody knows something's wrong with me so Bronco fans can have this moment. And, you know, he's just tough, dude. And didn't he play with like a broken back or something last year too?
Yeah, ribs or backs he played like multiple weeks with.
Yeah, so like he's just tough as nails, dude. And I think whether the Broncos go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, which is not out of the question, they're here, right? They got a shot. They got to win 2 games. That's it. But whether they do or don't, Bo Nix has proven himself. He has proven that he belongs in not only a top 5, top 10 quarterback discussion, but if you look at his numbers, dude, I posted some of this stuff yesterday. His ability to come back in these games and the ability to play his best when his team is down is just second to none this year. It is second to nobody, including Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams lost in this round and Bo Nix did not. Right? So the thing that I want to say first before we get into the narrative, I was wrong. I thought the Bills would win the game. I didn't think the Broncos could stop them at all on defense, and they didn't. They got the turnovers when they needed to, but really the Bills just did whatever they wanted on the offense. But the Broncos took the ball when they absolutely needed to. They made a play, and that's how you win games. It doesn't have to be pretty. I don't care if you gave up 450 yards. Did you win the game? We're not trying to categorize ourselves in the top 5 defenses right now. If we win the game, we win the game. It doesn't matter, right? So I was definitely wrong. And, you know, I'm always man enough to admit when I'm wrong. And this was one of the times where I was wrong. And I think I've learned a lot about just being a fan versus being like an analytical mind. It gets me in trouble sometimes. Of course, I want to say the Broncos are going to win every game, but my mind, the way it works, it doesn't allow me to do that all the time. Of course, the Broncos are very good, and I should pick them most of the time, and I think I have this year. I think I picked against them once, right, against the Eagles or something like that. But I just wanted to put that out there for Broncos fans to see. I'm not a rage baiter. I'm not Ryan Clark. I'm not Nick Wright. I'm not any of these guys. I say what I feel. And if it's wrong, then I admit it to you. I don't hide from it. I'm not going to run from the fact that I was wrong. I'm not saying things to get people upset. I said something and it was wrong. That's it. But none of what I said about the Bills winning this game had anything to do with Bo Nix. I thought Bo Nix would be fine. I thought Sean Payton would put him in a position where he wouldn't be able to win the game. But it doesn't matter. They ran the ball, 8 times with the 2 backs? And Bo dropped back to pass 46 times, and they still won the game. So here's what I want to say, and we'll get into this. I'll let you chime in here in a sec, Sean. The narrative about this game is depressing because it should be about how Bo Nix beat Josh Allen. It should be about how the Broncos are advancing to the AFC Championship. It should be about how the Broncos found a way to win a game again. But instead, it's going to be overshadowed, unfortunately, by the fact that Bo Nix is now injured. So I want to put it out there for people that are talking about this game. You can be quiet about Bo Nix now. I know you're going to overshadow his performance with the interception, which we aren't even going to get to. We're not even going to give credence to that at all, Sean. or the penalties or any of that stuff. The Bills had their chances and they didn't execute. But you guys can stop talking about Bo Nix now. I don't know what else he needs to do for you to realize that he is a great quarterback in the NFL. So I don't want his injury. I don't want this interception by Jaquan. I don't want, the lack of flags or the flags at the end. I don't want any of that stuff to overshadow what Bo Nix did yesterday. Sean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the unfortunate reality is moving forward, the narrative for Bo, regardless of how this next game goes, is lose-lose. Because it's just like you said, if we win, well, Bo obviously isn't the reason as to why the Broncos are winning. They won without him, and they're going to the Super Bowl without him. But if they lose, it's it's just like it's the Broncos didn't play anybody. They're not as good as everybody thought that they were. They're false, not all the crap, dude. And it's just there's just no overcoming it. And unfortunately, his injury doesn't allow him to build upon what he just created and what could have been legacy. It absolutely could have been legacy. You could have been the guy that takes you to another Super Bowl and starts what could be an era. And now it's not just Joe and Lamar and Josh and Patrick. You literally have a divisional rivalry where there's a multi-Super Bowl winning quarterback and legend like Patrick Mahomes and the up-and-coming Super Bowl champion Bo Nix. That's what it could have been. And now it's just not going to be that. And so the narrative, and like you said, and what's stealing from that is, it's overshadowed by zebra shirts and all this kind of stuff that, there was no penalties in that game, the whole game. And I'm not going to be a homer here, but there was 3 plays in a row where a DB never turned around to play the ball. So you're going to get one of those calls, right? And if you didn't get the one, you still had a roughing the passer call that everybody said it was there. So you can shut the hell up about that because you had 2 penalties on the same damn play. And if it wasn't pass interference, it sure as hell was holding. So I get it. We've been there. We've all played Patrick Mahomes, and you see the crap calls all the time. So we're all familiar with it. But to your point, the refs didn't throw that touchdown pass. The refs didn't drive down the field down and score and take that. That's not what happened. It wasn't in the end zone. Bo did everything that he could do. Those play calls are exactly what they should be. You put it in the hands of the referees, and you are going to regret it. So if you're a Bills fan or you're anybody's fan, if you allow the referees to make a call and you put yourself in that position, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to lose that game. So you're right. There's no reason to talk about it. That's not what happened. The dude threw almost 50 passes. It's unfortunate, man. There's nothing that we can say or anyone can say. The national people are it is what it is, man. I don't understand the Broncos hate from a national perspective. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. We've been irrelevant for so long that it's like, why are you like, what is the hate for? And the fact that they let these homers have national TV shows is the problem. But, it's unfortunate, man. He's going to have to come back next year and build upon this to get what he deserves, which sucks for him. But what can he do? I mean, hell, maybe he can go out there and play in a boot. He played with broken ribs. Maybe he can just play with a boot and we'll be good to go. But
he has more playoff wins than Justin Herbert now, and Herbert's had 4 games to get one, and he doesn't have one. So, and that doesn't have anything to do with what you just said. I just want to take a shot at Justin Herbert and the Chargers. But
low hanging fruit.
We have no doubt that when Bo Nix comes back, we are going to be Super Bowl contenders for the foreseeable future. Can you imagine this guy with a top-rated, top-notch wide receiver and a running game? dude, he is literally carrying the Broncos on his back now that the defense doesn't know how to stop anything. And he has what you would refer to as, and with all due respect, because I love you guys, a bunch of wide receiver 2s and 3s, a tight end 2, 2 tight end 2s, 2 tight end 3s. Like, you know, the running backs are good in their own ways, but they're not like every down backs. They're not dogs, you know. Brees Hall, come to Denver, please, in the offseason. But I think there's something to be said about the Bo Nix injury, where Sean now has learned, dude, we need to run the ball. We need a running game. And I think that's why they're going to make a strong push for Brees Hall and some other guys in the offseason, because they got to run the ball. You can't depend on Bo to do everything. And I know Sean Payton, there was nothing wrong with his play call that got Bo hurt, but I bet you he's having nightmares about calling that play, because that's the one that did us in, right, with Bo. So I just want people we did this thing with Bo where we were upset with him at times, and we were saying this needs to improve and this needs to improve, but we were never like, this guy sucks and he can't win the big game. And he, you know, there's a difference between the two things. And it's just like, people just say things to get attention, and we're never going to be those guys, Sean. We're never going to be, we're just Bronco fans, dude. We're not trying to be anything we're not, you know? And these national media guys, I think I don't know how they sleep at night saying stuff that they probably don't even mean half the time, but they're just saying it for rage bait and clicks and ratings and all that stuff. You know, I could never live with myself being that person, but you know, the Bo Nix narrative should change after this game, but we know it won't. We know it won't. Because like you said, Sean, we win the Super Bowl with Jarrett Stidham. It's like, okay, well, obviously Bo Nix isn't that great because they beat the Rams or the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, which would be one hell of a Cinderella story, by the way, Sean. And then if we don't beat the Patriots, it's like, well, the Broncos as a whole were frauds and, you know, all this stuff. People can't make up their minds. Like, you got these same people saying, well, if they win the Super Bowl, or the same people that say, well, Bo Nix isn't that good. Well, now they're saying that now that Bo Nix is out, that we're done. So it's like, is he not good, or like what? Make up your damn mind. You know, like, this is insane. But the thing I want to talk to Broncos fans about is we shouldn't care what anybody thinks anyway about our quarterback or our team. Only thing that matters is what they think and what they do on the field. And I think a lot of times these days, especially with social media, we all get too caught up in who says what about Bo Nix and the Broncos, and who cares? You know, if we don't like what these people say, stop giving them a platform. Just don't watch them. You know, but that's where we're at in society these days. You say something stupid, you're famous, and you know, we're just not those guys, Sean. Like, we wouldn't make this content if we were doing things like that. That's just not how we operate. And it bothers me that people talk about Bo Nix like this. It's just insane, dude. Like, he has accomplished so many things in just his second year that Justin Herbert could only dream of. You know, Lamar Jackson's been to one AFC Championship game? I think, right?
Yeah.
So he's been to one, Bo's been to one, Herbert's been to none. You know, obviously Joe Burrow is a very good quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence, the generational talent, he's not been to an AFC Championship game. He's been in the league for, 6 years? Who else are we talking about here, dude? Like, Jordan Love, he hasn't been to a conference championship, has he? I don't think he has. Jaden Daniels has. Dak Prescott hasn't, I don't think. Or has he? No, he's been to one against Green Bay, wasn't it? Oh, no, that was Romo. Was that Romo?
Yeah, no, he's barely made the playoffs.
Okay, yeah. So, what else does he need to do? He outdueled the so-called Superman yesterday.
I think, because you talked about running backs, right? And I think Bo is going to have plenty of opportunities in his career, especially if Sean Payton's going to be his coach, because he had Alvin Kamara, who doesn't have 1,000-yard season in his entire career. And Alvin Kamara is fantastic. He's an all, but you're the only way you're going to get yards in Sean Payton's system is if you're an all-purpose back that can catch the ball and run the ball, because he's never going to hand you the damn rock. So, you might as well hope for whoever can catch the ball out of the backfield, a Christian McCaffrey type of player or something like that. They can get you the yards on the outside and between the tackles, because he's not going to hand you the ball. And this is the only opportunity we're going to see if we're going to have a running game. I don't know if JK is going to come back. I know that was rumored. I guess we'll see how this week goes. But bro, RJ Harvey was breaking tackles on the edges and everything. Don't get the damn ball, dude. Like, what? Bo's going to have every opportunity in the world to throw it, because he's going to throw 70,000 passes in his career because they're never going to run the ball. So he's going to have every opportunity in the world to prove the narrative of what he deserves, because he's going to have so many yards. It's going to make John Elway sick, because there's not going to be a Terrell Davis when Sean Payton's here. There just isn't. It's not Mike Shanahan's system. It's not Kyle Shanahan's system where you can plug and play a running back and they're going to get you 1,000. Bo Nix is going to prove this year in and year out. And for all these people, they're haters, they're going to find out, because it's just going to be what it is. And I'm here for the ride, man. I can't wait to see it, because it's going to be what it is, and he's going to prove it. And I assume we're going to have hardware, and I expect to have hardware during the Bo Nix era.
Don't disagree with you at all. 10 carries for the running backs yesterday.
Sweet.
10 carries in a game that the Broncos were never out of. Not for a single second.
No.
So that's the other thing that goes into the narrative. People don't talk about this, dude. They don't talk about this at all when they mention Bo Nix. He has no running game. He lost 2 receivers yesterday. He has no tight end. Just shut up. Just shut up. And I'm being a hypocrite now because I'm getting upset over what people say, but we shouldn't care, but we do. We shouldn't care about Nick Wright and Skip Bayless and these other idiots that get paid millions of dollars to say the stupidest things imaginable. But just be quiet. Like, learn football or stop talking about it. Ryan Clark, all like Skip Bayless, Nick Wright. Who else is out? They're just idiots, dude. And I'm just tired of it. He literally carries the Broncos every week. They ask him to pass the ball 50 times a game, and all he does is win games. So I don't know what else people want him to do. But anyway, now that Bo has brought us to the promised land, Sean, we're meeting a familiar foe, and we're going to spend just a few minutes on this because we're going to do a preview show later in the week. The Patriots won today against Houston, so they have earned their spot to the AFC Championship game as well. I can say wholeheartedly that I think Drake May is an outstanding guy. I think he's a class act. I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. The Broncos are going to have quite a challenge in front of them defensively, but I do think that they're going to be able to get after him because Houston destroyed him. And the Patriots' offensive line isn't exactly known for protecting him. On top of that, the Patriots are 0-4 in the playoffs in Denver. The last time we played a backup quarterback against the Patriots, we won. C.J. Anderson, Brock Osweiler, Bubba Caldwell. Remember that game? It's not been a good place to the Patriots. So, Sean, just early thoughts on playing the Patriots with Stidham, with Drake May, and how the Patriots look.
So I picked this jersey for the show because we're going to need a similar performance from Nick this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he has a great affinity for Vaughn, and the way that Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson got after Drake May today. If CJ Stroud would have just punted the ball every time he touched it, the Texans probably would have won. So to me, as long as Stidham protects the football, and I think what's the saying, that just make sure that every drive ends in a kick. whether it's a punt, an extra point, or a field goal. Just don't give them short possessions. The Patriots, for as bad as CJ Stroud played, did not impress me all that much. The throws were horrible. It wasn't just like their defense was so dominant, and CJ Stroud's feet were terrible. The throws were terrible. It seemed like he was constant. Oh, panic, bro. Complete and total panic. And like I said, I'm in Houston and people were freaking out, dude. Like just horrible. And so, and I mean, people were calling for Davis Mills at halftime. So, if people are calling for Davis Mills, Jarrett Stidham should be just fine. So I think to your point, our defense is as good. And if that catch and some of those catches, I think Stingley is arguably the second best corner in the league behind Pat.
Mm-hmm.
And he was getting cooked on those plays. I don't think Pat gets cooked on those plays. I don't think we put the ball on the deck 4 times. So for everyone that thinks that we don't have a chance, we're playing at home. If our defense does 75% of what Houston's defense does today, and the offense does 25% or less of the CJ Stroud turnovers, we're going to be in this game with an opportunity to win it. And I don't know who I'm going to pick yet. I want to see where people are going to be, who's in, who's out. But do not count us out, because I was not overly impressed by the Patriots in a game where the Texans' offense was embarrassing. And I went to the Raiders-Texans game just a few weeks ago that the Texans won. Their offense was embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
They put up no fight whatsoever today. And in my opinion, the Patriots, I don't want to say barely pulled it out, but outside of that beautiful catch, is it Butte? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Kishon Boutte, yeah. Great catch.
Dude, that catch in the
Phenomenal
snow was
catch.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's a one-score game. That's a one-score game until he catches that with 4. And I know Drake May turned it over 3 times too. But with 4 interceptions, one of them being a pick 6, the Texans still had a real opportunity to win that game.
They did. You're right. And here's the thing too. The Patriots are really young, like really young. And they're coming into Denver not having played a road playoff game as a unit. Drake May has not seen a defense like this on the road. He has not played in an environment like this. I think the Broncos have every chance to win this game as well. I am not discounting the Patriots. I think they're a really good football team. I think they're going to be a very formidable opponent for the Broncos. But guess what? The Broncos are also going to be a formidable opponent for the Patriots. So I'm looking forward to this, Sean. Just one quick note on the CJ Stroud thing. I saw a post from FanDuel that said that his passer rating today was 28, and that his passer rating, if he would have spiked the ball on every play, it would have been 39.6. I mean, he was just atrocious.
I told you he should have punted it. It was just so bad.
Yeah, and we have never seen Bo Nix look like that, except for his first game in Seattle, where it was pretty wide-eyed, and he was like, the game's too fast, and that's understandable because it's your first game. But all this stuff that people want to talk about Bo Nix and stuff, he has never looked like that. He doesn't blink, dude. Last year against Joe Burrow, he didn't blink. He was toe-to-toe with that guy. And then even in the Bills game last year on the road, he was there, dude. We were just dropping passes left and right? And we couldn't stop the run. And then this year, he goes toe-to-toe with Mahomes. He goes toe-to-toe with Hurts. He goes toe-to-toe with Love and Allen. And, it's just like we're good over here. We're good over here. We love you, Bo. We hope that you recover quickly, dude. And we can't wait for the next 10 years, 15 years, however long you're going to be here, because it's going to be the Broncos competing for Super Bowls all the time. It's our time now. And next year, this team is going to be a little bit different on the coaching side, but they've got Allen locked up. They've got Sutton locked up. They've got Surtain locked up. Jones is signed. Cooper, Bonito. Like, these guys are locked up, bro. Roach is coming back. John Franklin Myers ain't coming back, but Roach is coming back. Wazirike is on a good contract, I believe. If not, just being a restricted free agent at the end of the year. I don't know what I'm talking about there, but I think he's a young player that is under a rookie contract. The Broncos are not going anywhere, bro. Hufanga's locked up. Greenlaw's locked up. Sternad's probably coming back. Singleton probably won't be back because we got to improve there. But, like, we're not going anywhere, bro. And we're going to add to this offense. We're going to get a tight end. We're going to get a running back. We're going to get a receiver. And we're going to get help for Bo Nix so he doesn't have to literally carry us to the AFC Championship game. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the Patriots are a really good football team. I just don't think that people should be favoring a team that young with inexperience on the road in the playoffs by 5 points, regardless of who our quarterback is. I think that's crazy.
It's good for us, though. I think we play from a position of disrespect, especially that defense with a chip on their shoulder. I think if we were 3.5-point favorites coming into this game, I think I don't want to say we would relax. I don't think we're that type of team, but I think the offensive line takes it personally. I think the entire defense takes it personally. And that's sometimes that's all you need. I know that's the Nuggets rode that wave to their championship that everybody was hating on Jokic and all this type of stuff. It's very similar, man. And it's sometimes that's just what you need because this isn't Tom Brady. What have these Patriots proved? I mean, for all the haters on us, there's an equivalent amount of haters on the fact that the Patriots haven't beat anybody. I mean, it's really just, and I don't know what to say, but it's to your point, like, yeah, you won that game today at home. If Drake May fumbles 3 times at Empower Field, we're going to beat the brakes off this team. Jarrett Stidham or not. RJ Harvey can stand back there and throw screen passes if we need him to. It's totally fine. So it's, I think we're going to be okay. I think the Super Bowl and having to go through the Rams or the Seahawks is going to be a much taller task for Stidham than this weekend. I don't want to completely discount the Patriots. They did what they did, but I think that our defense can cause some problems. They're getting turnovers, which they didn't do in the regular season, and they're doing it now. And if they get around the edges like Benito and Cooper do, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson have their hand on that ball time after time after time. And that's exactly how Nick Benito and Jonathan Cooper play. So it could, it's protect the football on offense, and you're going to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, well, and Ramondre Stevenson and Trevion Henderson, they're good backs. They're not James Cook. And I think the Broncos match up with their receivers really well too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's obviously we're going to diagnose, and like you said, we'll talk about the game as the week goes on. But it's going to be fun, man. Obviously I wish Bo was leading us to the finish line and we could enjoy that, but it's the AFC Championship, man. You're one game away from the Super Bowl. We're what's today? Sunday. We're 7 days away from another chance at a Super Bowl, man. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Well, and let's be clear about this too. Getting to the Super Bowl, regardless of if we win it or not, based on the situation here, is a success for the Broncos. It's house money at that point if you can beat the Rams or the Seahawks. Who knows? Sam Darnold against the Broncos defense doesn't sound like a good recipe to me for the Seahawks. But Jared Stidham obviously be going against a good Seahawks defense, and then the Rams defense, passing wise, they can be had, dude. And you give Sean Payton 2 weeks to prepare for that. I think the Broncos they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. But I have 3 messages to end this podcast tonight. To Broncos fans, we're with you. I mean, we feel the pain, man. I almost cried last night when I heard the news. So, like, hang in there. bring it on Sunday because we're the home team, and don't lose hope because Sean Payton, for all the problems I have with him, is a good coach, and he'll come up with something that keeps the ball secure when it comes to Jarrett Stidham. To Patriot fans, you don't have an easy road to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Broncos are going to win this game for sure, but stop going on the internet and yapping and saying, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, this is the easiest path ever. Like, no, it's not. You guys have never won a playoff game in Denver, ever. So, like, I don't know what you think is going to be easy about this. And then number 3, to the Bills fans, learn the rules, learn football, and just enjoy being the bridesmaids that you are, because that's all you're ever going to be. You're never going to win anything. The Sabres are never going to win the cup. The Bills are never going to win the Super Bowl. Just cope with it. Okay? Just cope with it. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. All right? You're not a championship caliber town. You're not a championship caliber football team. And contrary to what everybody said about you guys this week, including me, your quarterback is not Superman. The real Superman is behind me on this screen right here. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is the Bronc Bros podcast. I am Adam. Adam knows ball. Sean, he will have his handle up on the next podcast. We forgot to do that today, Sean. We are at Bronc Bros _ on Instagram. Make sure to follow us. Make sure to follow me. Follow Sean. Like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, tell 10 about the podcast if you enjoy our content. Thank you for tuning in. We're in the AFC Championship, Sean. Let's enjoy the moment. And as always, go Broncos.
Hell yeah, man. Can't wait.
See you guys.